you. Last week we talked about thinking critically, where you engage with a piece first, you think about the topic, what are the pros, what are the cons, what are my assumptions. And this week we read The Undercover Parent by Harlan Coben. Before we read the piece, I had to do a check-in activity where you thought critically about putting spyware on people's computers, whether that be your children's computers, your partner's cell phones, or computers or what have you. That way, you've thought about it critically before engaging with reading the piece. Now, this week, we're talking about critical reading. So there are just a few things to know about that, which are indeed in the textbook on page 35, but let me summarize them for you first. Okay, number one, you want a preview. You want to look at who the author is, right? That speaks to their credibility. Are they just writing an op-ed? Is it for humor? Is it someone with a PhD? Is it a constitutional lawyer, if indeed he's writing about law? You want to look at who the author is. Pay attention to that. Pay attention to the date of publication. If it's a piece on women's rights and it was published in 1920, it's probably not going to be very useful to you. So pay attention to also the title of the piece, because that will give you a hint at their argument. It'll also give you a hint of their purpose. Again, is it being cheeky? Is it funny? Can you tell what their argument is just in the title alone? And most importantly, what you want to find is the thesis. Okay, a thesis is just the main argument of a piece. That's all it is. So as you're reading a piece, what you want to do is skim through it, try to get a sense of who they are, when it was published, what's the title, and finally, and most importantly, what's the argument that's being made. They talk about this on page 36. Now, once you've got a sense of the argument and you've done this previewing practice in order to read critically, now read with a careful eye. They talk about this on page 42. And what that means, basically, is you know how it feels when sometimes you're reading, let's say you're sitting on a bus, you're sitting under a tree, or at home on the couch, and you're reading a piece, and you've gone a couple pages through, and then you think, oh my God, I have no idea what I just read. I wasn't paying attention. Well, this is what we're trying to practice out of. Okay? We want to start paying greater attention. And in order to do that, first of all, we've thought critically about the topic. Second of all, we've previewed by seeing where it stands, when it was published, etc., the context of the piece. And now what we want to do is get into a deep reading. And you do that by annotating, underlining, and highlighting. And again, that's on page 42 in your textbook. Basically, when you're annotating, underlining, and highlighting, that means you're engaging with the piece. And I know a lot of you don't want to write in your books because you want to resell them. So what I suggest to you is all of these handy-dandy Post-its. These will be great for you throughout your education. Because that way, when it comes time, it's at the end of the semester, and you don't remember everything that you've read, nor should you, you can just look back at the pages where you've put all of your notes, and you've written questions and notes, and that way, too, you don't have your books frozen in time with the first thing you thought about those pieces. That's why I like to use Post-its, because I can go back and reread something, and maybe I think something different this time. Maybe I have a different question. Well, then I can take out my old Post-its and put new ones in. So that's basically what will practice you into becoming critical readers. And it's not the easiest thing in the world. It's not something I'm expecting you to master, but these are some very handy tools in order to get you there. Okay, so really quickly, what I'd like you to do is to reread The Undercover Parent and go through this practice. What do you think about the title, The Undercover Parent? Do you like it? Why or why not? What do you think about the fact that it was published in 2008? Is it too dated for you? And finally, what's his thesis? Go back through it, underline it, annotate, highlight, and see if you can find Harlan Coben's thesis. Once you've found it, what is his main argument? Then I want you to turn to the pages we read for this week on page 47, summarizing, and see if you can summarize in your own words what Harlan Coben's thesis is. So you should have two things. You should be able to say what his thesis is, quote it, you know how to cite it because of the workbook, and then summarize it. And that will be your paragraph homework, I believe, for this week as well. So go ahead through that practice, and I'll see you next week.